Hola a todos nuevamente en este espacio de conversación que hacemos con gerentes generales y con líderes influyentes en la región. Tenemos esta alianza bastante fructífera con América Retail. Vamos a hacer una entrevista hoy día muy interesante, va a ser en inglés, así que vamos a cambiar al idioma inglés muy pronto, pero tenemos un invitado especial. His name is Luri Miranda, presidente de Burger King Brasil. Welcome, Luri.
Thank you very much, Aldo. It's a pleasure to be here. Mucho gusto.
Okay, a little introduction, a brief introduction of Luri background. He's a CEO of Burger King Brazil since 2010. Previously, he worked for ExxonMobil and Esso Petróleo Brazil. He has a business administration degree at University Católica El Salvador and specialization programs at Fundación Getulio Vargas, University of North Carolina, and Thunderbird School. As you know, Burger King is an American multinational chain of hamburger fast food restaurants with headquarters in Florida. The company was founded in 1953 as Insta Burger King. Every day, more than 11 million customers visit Burger King restaurants around the world. Would you please, Luri, start by just telling us a little bit more in spite of it's a very popular brand anyways, can you tell us a little bit more about Burger King history, markets, global presence, and operations in Brazil?
Sure, Aldo, it's a pleasure. Well, we are actually, the name of our company is BK Brazil. We are the master franchisee for Burger King and also for Popeyes in Brazil. We have been the master franchisee since 2011. We run a super franchise, something around 950 restaurants all across the country. 80% of these restaurants are run by ourselves, and 20% we sub-franchise to other partners in the country. Burger King started operations in Brazil back to 2004. And in 2011, it was created, our company BK Brazil, and then we took the responsibility of developing by ourselves new restaurants or sub-franchise. At that moment, there were something around 50 restaurants in country, and today we have more than 900, including 50 Popeyes restaurants. We are already the biggest restaurant operator in country. A team with 15,000 employees, and very happy with the success and development of both brands in country. Actually, Popeyes started back to 2019. Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. It's a very good surprise for us. We opened 50 restaurants in last 2 years, and the chicken is flying, in terms of business a lot in country.
Okay. Thanks. Before starting the interview, we were talking enough about the economy, how the economy is going in our countries, in Latin America, in Brazil, in Chile, in Peru. No doubt the pandemic has sent the global economy into one of the worst recessions ever, right? It's not clear when it's going to be a full recovery. Probably it's going to take some time. The spread of the COVID since the beginning of 2020 forced many countries into lockdowns, affecting mobility, affecting economic activity, etc. According to the World Bank, the global growth has contracted by almost 5.2% in 2020. What evaluation the company Burger King has made of this crisis caused by coronavirus? What threats did the company that has faced, and what has been the impact on operations, employees' health, and business growth?
Sure. As you said, we faced since 2020, beginning of 2020, probably one of the most challenging times in all of our history. The food service industry has had one of the biggest impacts among several other segments, especially, as you said, on the dining channel. Restrictions to open restaurants were spread out to the entire country. Just to give you a number, during the most impacted months, March, April, and May last year, and April this year, we had almost 2/3 of our restaurants closed. we think about back into March 2020. Basically, at that time, we didn't have a clear view what would be future, meaning first wave, second wave. Employees were in doubt, management was in doubt. I mean, everybody, board was in doubt, everybody was in doubt about what could happen. So at that moment, we set three main priorities to help us cross in this storm. And we communicated that to everybody in the company. The first priority was really to protect our employees. The second one, protect our customers. And the third one was protect our company. In each one of these pillars, we implemented actions to ensure that employees and customers were safe. And the company was in a solid position to face that moment. As an example, Aldo, we have more than 15,000 employees. And I would say in the last 18 months, this is one of the things that we are more proud of. We have not lost any life to COVID in our company. Also, our company was one of the first companies in country to start donating resources to the healthcare public system. And on the company, on the pillar, protect the company side, we entered 2021 in a solid cash position after conducting a follow-on operation back to December 2020. And we also speed up the implementation of some digital and technological initiatives to place our business in an omni-channel and in a customer-centric environment.
It's amazing. You say 15,000 or 50,000 employees?
15,000.
15,000 employees, and there is no any cash.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
amazing.
didn't have any casualty. We got something around 2,500 employees contaminated. We provided a health system, psychological system to each one of them. Besides all the medical support that they get from government medical systems. And we are very proud that we can support them and everyone, got here.
Yes, it speaks really well of the commitment of the company with the employees. That's really good. That's a really good view of how to handle situations nowadays when everything has changed. And talking about evolution and next steps. Until 2019, before pandemic, these are all things about evolution and technology and digital transformation probably was an exclusive topic of a few industries like financial, technology, and retail, and some others maybe. But now in the pandemic, everything has changed. Maybe customers they need different approaches. They need different experience. They need to omni-channel experience. They need to buy sometimes on the internet and pick up on the store, or even in the store maybe a seamless experience in the payment process, in the serving process, everything. So now it seems to be that everything about evolution and technology is important. What is the role of innovation, digital technology on the company strategy?
Perfect. This is a very good question, very good point. As I told you, we ourselves run more than 700 restaurants ourselves. In other words, we serve millions of customers per year. It is a huge amount of transactions, not only from a front-end standpoint, as you mentioned, customer facing, but by running 700 restaurants, you can imagine how much process we have in the back office side to allow a seamless transaction with the customer. So technology became fundamental. One, to understand customer needs. Two, to reduce attrition. And three, to increase productivity and to improve interface with our employees. It's not only about customers, but consider that we also have our internal customers, our employees. So you need to use technology to facilitate, speed up the interface with all your shareholders. So have the customer on your mind, but when thinking about customer, you have the internal customer and you have the external customer. Digital sales became, although a very important part of the business, and I can give you some examples. Today, digital sales represents something around 34% of our total sales share, 34%. Loyalty program, and we were the first fast food company in country to launch a loyalty program. We launched that 5 months ago, and we already have more than 1.5 million members. Our app has more than 35 million downloads. We have 450 restaurants with self-ordering kiosks. And as I told you, the solutions that we are seeking, not only for the front-end solutions, but also to the back office, consider that we have 15,000 employees, and the interface, the daily interface with these employees is very, very important for us. So we develop a solution that is available 24/7, in which the employees can get access to information such as paycheck, overtime, vacation, and everything is through a WhatsApp number with all the confidentiality, all the security checks, but it's a WhatsApp number. Behind this WhatsApp number, we have a robot chat that learned and is answered, employees in a very fast, moment about their doubts regarding, all these labor topics. So it's using technology not only for, as I told you, front end, but also to help us to gain productivity and improve the interface with our internal customers as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned one of the main capabilities of technology for you was understanding customer needs, because it's changing a lot. So it brings me to a different questions about customer experience, especially when you are involved. Burger King is involved in a very competitive industry with lot of competitors and providers and different options that people has in the day-to-day when they want a burger. So probably the quality of the product of a Whopper, for example, we all know Whopper. The quality is important, of course, very important to have a really nice burger, tasty, fresh, and everything. But it's also important what is before and after, the whole journey, the whole experience, the end-to-end experience. So it's starting by understanding the needs of the customers. If they want to, if they want to get information online, if they want to stop by a store and get the burger in the local, and then understanding and following the customer to provide with information after his experience. So it's a whole journey. How important is the customer experience in the end-to-end process for the company?
That's a very good point. Actually, you start your question mentioned the importance of the quality of the food, and I need to reinforce that because we are in fast food business in both of our brands. I mean, the Popeyes and chicken and the Burger King and burgers that we franchise and operate. So we do believe that the quality of food is the main ingredient for success in our restaurant business. It seems to be simple, and actually it is food, and food. But on top of that, as you mentioned, I believe that the combination of a good team is fundamental, and also processes to ensure less and less attrition in the transaction with our customers. I believe that this word will, change the way that companies, think and do business. You need to reduce the attrition in the interface with your customers. And we have very good examples. For instance, in our country, if you ask today how many people, take a cab instead of, ordering a kind of Uber service, and why they're doing that. why they are choosing, another type of service for transportation. Because for them, this new solution really reduce all the attrition that they had in the old system. I mean, including a payment method that you don't need to have in your mind. Oh, do I have money? Do I have change, to pay for this cab? Itinerary, exactly the profile of the driver that you're going to take, and many other things that reduce it, the attrition between the customer and the provider. It is the same, in my opinion, in every single industry today, including our industry. We started a program 3 years ago, which is the CRM, Customer Relation Manager. We made a rollout back to December last year. And today, we are already able to identify any transaction that we have in our restaurants. We are able to. And we are speeding up, the engagement of the customers to allow us to have their data. In order to do that, I mean, for the customer to give you the data, you need to give them something in return. I mean, product, service, including, a better understanding of their needs. Aldo, for instance, might, and you mentioned Whopper, might, like his Whopper without onion, and might want, additional cheese. And he's a person that really enjoys desserts. So if Aldo is going to one of our restaurants, instead of, putting the order and customizing the order, if we know that, I can jump in front of Aldo and say, Aldo, how about your, Whopper without onions and double cheese? And by the way, would like, a milkshake. This is something that you can learn with the customer, reducing friction, and more than that, giving him or her a very customized treatment and experience. That's the future. Using technology to process a huge amount of data, huge amount that you will not be able to do that without technology behind, to reduce your friction and to give a customized experience to your customer.
Yeah, I must say that the experience is great. I haven't tried buying a burger in Brazil. I tried many times in Chile, for example. I would love to share my experience. I have a nephew. He's 7 years old. My nephew. He's a Burger King lover. He loves totally Burger King. He likes a Stoker. That's this burger. Stoker. But he's a little picky. He doesn't like the sauce. He just he doesn't like the sauce. So if you get him a burger with sauce, barbecue sauce, he will say no. He wouldn't eat it. So he's very picky. And I in the pandemic last year, it was 2 or 3 months in Chile. We were not allowed to get together. So I was sending him. I was actually getting burgers to him in the web page, Burger King Chile. It was experience. The experience was actually great. Everything worked well, but it's one little detail. It was hard for the web page to provide me a customized experience, because sometimes they send the burger with sauce, so it was a problem for us. So, anyways, this is a very little detail. I must say the experience was 99.9% great, getting or trying or buying online in Burger King Chile. What is the next step for you think for customers who love or who likes to get everything online? What is the next step? What is next for you?
Well, allow me to make a comment. What is next, in my opinion, is that the customer will decide where he or she will buy, when they will buy, and how they will buy.
Yeah.
And by the way, you're not the one who decide on behalf of them. They decide. And be ready to deliver the same good and excellent experience, no matter what the channel sales is. That's the difference. I mean, here we have, for instance, Aldo, in our app, one functionality that is BK Express. We call that BK Express. We have that, and you can order anything from our menu. I mean, if you are in Chile and you download our app, you want to make an order in a Burger King Brazil, you're gonna see the list of our restaurants. You're gonna see the distance to the restaurant. You can make the order, and by the way, you can customize your order exactly the way that you do in our restaurants. In other words, the example that you gave us. If you don't want, mayonnaise, for instance, in your Whopper, you can say without mayo. If you want to put bacon in your Whopper, you can put bacon. Exactly the same way that you're doing in your restaurant, you can do that in our webpage or in our BK Express. After that, you pay, and your order goes to the cloud. Because imagine that you are Chile and you take a flight to São Paulo, it's going to be 6 hours approximately. Then you go to the restaurant, so you're going to be there in probably 8 hours. If I start producing your order right now, can you imagine, your order will not be fresh at all when you arrive to Brazil. Yeah. So we put your order in the cloud, and when you arrive to the restaurant, you make a check-in, and the only thing that you're gonna need to wait is to hear your name, and you're gonna say, Aldo, your order, your meal is ready. This is just one example of technology. But if Aldo wants to go to the cashier and have a talk with the cashier and ask about any, doubt about the menu promotion, you can do that. On the other side, if you want to go to the self-ordering kiosk, and we have self-ordering kiosks in most of our restaurants, and you don't want to speak to anybody, you can go to the self-ordering kiosk. If you want to go to the drive-thru, you go to the drive-thru. Or if you want to stay home and make an order, you can go to our website on our app and order delivery. The point here is we really became an omni-channel business, and you need to deliver with the same consistency, your product in all channels. And by the way, if there is a product that does not support travel time from our restaurant to your home, and by the way, we also use technology to set a maximum radio that we take an order, we will not serve that product to you because we don't want to jeopardize the quality of the product because it is delivered. So it's just a puzzle of several pieces that you need to put together to provide a better service to the customer. And the end game of that, as I mentioned to you, is really to send in advance pushes to Aldo to say, Aldo, how about a Whopper today, by the way, without onions, for instance. So you're going to start providing communication and interface in advance with your customer, but in the right amount, because if we start sending so many pushes to your customer, they can be upset. They're gonna download delete your app. So it's really the use of technology to help improving the interface, the customized interface with your customer.
This is a really interesting, and I have to congratulate Burger King Brazil for having this point of view of providing a customized experience and using technology to put the customers in the middle, in the center. The customer has to be in the center always, and they decide, as you say before, they decide everything. They decide, and you just have to provide the best experience ever. Last question, Luri. We talk about technology, but everything is not technology. Everything, the whole roadmap and the strategy you just actually described, it wouldn't be possible if there is not people behind, the workers and employees and everyone who is changing and is working and is committed to provide the best experience. How important is cultural change in the organization?
Well, Aldo, as you said, in our view, digital transformation is not only about using agile methods. such as Scrum, the use of OKRs, squads, etc., is really about a cultural transformation. I do believe on that. And culture is all about people. A company is not, processes, is not, taxes, not. Company is made of people. And give people a clear and challenging target, and give them the tools and the environment that they need to perform the best, and then you will see the results. Digital is about, as you said, customer-centric and added value initiatives with good people using technology and agile behavior to deliver that. So I cannot see any single business without good people.
Thank you very much, Luri, for your time. Thank you very much, Burger King Brazil, for sharing your experience. Thank you very much for being part of this CEO talks we conduct with America Retail. Thank you very much. Una vez más a ustedes, gracias por seguirnos y por continuar viendo estas entrevistas muy interesantes, esta vez con Luri Miranda, presidente de Burger King Brasil, trayéndonos una increíble historia donde el cliente siempre está en el centro. El cliente siempre decide cómo, cuándo y dónde quiere tener su mejor experiencia. Thank you again, Luri. See you next time.
Muchas gracias, Aldo. Un placer and stay safe. Un abrazo.